Hello, this is Mr. Willis, and I'm going to show you some more tricks in Photoshop. Now, if you're watching this video, hopefully you've seen some of the earlier steps already where I showed you how to unlock layers and move them around in the layer section over here. I showed you how to take two pictures, like I have two separate pictures down here, and combine them into my one picture that we see here on the far left. And I also showed you how to use the eraser tool to erase basically everything but my face at this point. Now for this last step, I'm going to do my best to get my face to replace Thor's face. And before I get too much into it, you need to understand that at this point we're going to get a little artistic. And so there's not necessarily one perfect way to do it. There's not necessarily a perfect step-by-step way to do it. You need to really kind of play, experiment, and see what's going to make it fit the best depending on the kind of pictures that you're working with. In my case, first thing I look at is that Thor's face is tilted, mine is straight up and down. So for that, I'm going to use my move tool. That's what I use for pretty much any movements or resizing of one of my layers. And so I can grab the little circle here at the bottom of the picture of my face, turn it so that I'm matching about the same angle as Thor's face, and then I'll go ahead and give a green check mark to that because that looks pretty good. And now I can resize it. So I'm going to grab the corners, shrink it down, and I need, as far as the right size, it's going to be what matches Thor's face. And so like I said, you have to be the one to decide. I can't, there's no like specific size that I can say, oh, set it to this number and you'll be perfect. You've got to kind of look and match it as best you can. Right there, I think I'm getting pretty good. Maybe the hair smaller, like that. Okay, and I'll hit my green check mark again to take it. Actually, change my mind, a little bigger. There we go. Now, I have a couple different options at this point. I could either try and erase some of my face in order for the helmet and some of his hair to be in front of my face, or the way I think I'm going to do it in this case is I'm going to bring my layer of Thor back onto the top, and I'm going to erase Thor's face and then stick mine in behind it. Okay, so here's how I'll do that. I'll use my zoom tool, the magnifying glass. I'm going to zoom in. So I've got a really good view of his face there. And then I'm going to use the eraser tool. In this case, I think I'll just, or actually, you know what? I won't even use the eraser tool. I'll use the magic wand tool. And I'm going to click on and delete segments of his face. And you'll see the magic wand is great because it kind of cuts right around those edges so that we grab bits of his face, but we don't necessarily, whoop, I don't want to erase all that. That would be a little bit too much. And at this point, in fact, actually, I'm going to deselect, and I'm not going to use that magic wand tool anymore. Now I'm going to start using the eraser tool, shrink it down a little bit, and let's get some of those last little bits there. Okay, so you see, like I said, this is, we're being a little artistic. We're trying to get it as best we can, and might not quite get it perfect. So, all right, so I can see me back there. The problem is I'm not quite in the right position. So I'll switch back to where I'm working on the layer with my face, but I'll still leave it on the bottom. So it's still behind Thor's helmet here. And I'll switch to my move tool, and I'll move it up just a little bit so that I'm kind of fitting inside the helmet a bit. And that's looking a little better right there. Maybe I'll go ahead, as much as I hate to do this, I'll erase some of my hair from on top. Okay. And on the layer for Thor, ooh, I see I made a little bit of a mistake. I accidentally deleted some of his neck there. So you know what? I'll just have to undo some of that. Let's see if we can get his neck back. Luckily the undo tool is really great for that. And so this time, instead of just doing magic wand for all of it, I might have to just switch over and do the whole thing with my eraser tool. So I'll just get this because I kind of want to only erase down to his chin, and I don't really want to erase everything that is like of his neck and that whole area. So we'll erase all of that there. I want to be careful not to erase like the little bit of his hair because we want his hair to cover my face because that'll help the whole blending thing. All right. And now we'll go back to the layer of me, use the move tool. I'm going to move my face up a little bit. Maybe erase, I'll still go ahead and erase that little bit of my hair off the top. And all right, we're starting to look a little bit convincing there. Now at this point, there's lots of things I could keep tweaking, make my face a little bigger, a little smaller. There's lots of crazy tweaks I can do. One that I like to do, especially if I'm doing a photo of me onto kind of a cartoon background, is I like to use some of these filters. These filters do lots of really cool, they can make your photo look like it was made with, say, like stained glass or weird ripples or different kinds of brushes. And so I especially find that under this artistic one, a filter, some of these, like let's say I'll do poster edges, and you see how it really kind of makes my face look like it's drawn out of ink, like you would in a comic book. That starts to make it match a little more. And I can even do other things like mess with some of the, if I go into some of these other sections, there's things to mess with some of my colors. And so I'm going to maybe change the color until it's kind of matching the skin tone that we have on Thor. And there we go. So I'm starting to kind of look like Thor there. Now, I know those last bits I did a little fast, but the point is you really have to experiment and try different things. And so if you're working on this in class, before you call Mr. Willis over for help, try. Experiment a little bit. I promise you won't blow up the computer, but if things get really crazy, do ask me to come on over, and I'm happy to help you with this. So enjoy Photoshop. It's lots of fun.